You get up to refill the kettle, and by the time you turn back around, your dog has already dived into your warm seat. Here is the psychology behind why they do it every single time. To their brain, that spot is the most concentrated copy of you in the whole house. At Emory University, brain scans of dogs showed one smell lighting up the reward center above every other, their own person's. So the dent you left behind is not random real estate. It holds your scent, your body heat, and the exact shape of where you sat, the closest thing to you your dog can reach while you are gone. They are not stealing your seat. They are burying themselves in what is left of you. Over the next few minutes, 3 separate systems, smell, heat, and split-second timing, are going to explain a move you have watched 1,000 times and never once decoded. And the strangest of the 3 is the last one. So keep it in the back of your mind, because it quietly changes what every other piece of this means. Start with the seat itself. It still holds the dent of where you were, a low pocket of body heat, and a trace of your smell that has not had time to fade. Your dog walks over, turns one slow circle, and drops into it like it was being kept for them. Watch the nose the moment they land. It goes straight down into the fabric, working in short, deliberate pulls, eyes drifting half-closed. Some dogs knead it first, or nudge it into shape, then let out a long breath as they settle, as if something has finally been arranged the way it should be. Here is what most people miss. A dog does not meet the world the way you do. Where you lead with your eyes, they lead with their nose, carrying hundreds of millions of olfactory receptors against your 6 million or so. So an empty chair is never empty to them. To that nose, it is layered, detailed, alive, stitched through with the chemical signature of whoever was just sitting there, a signature as specific to you as a fingerprint. You see a cushion. Your dog reads a page torn straight out of you. Think about that for a second. The thing you treat as furniture, they treat as the richest trace of you they can get while you are out of reach. And that is exactly why they skip the identical cushion right beside it. The one that is just as soft, just as warm, just as open. They are not hunting for somewhere comfortable. They are hunting for you. The chair is only the message. You are the meaning. Cover that seat with a fresh blanket and watch what happens. Plenty of dogs will dig it right back, circling down through the new layer to the older one underneath. The one that is unmistakably you. The blanket is just something in the way of the real thing. So what is your dog actually reading in it? To find out, a neuroscientist put dogs in a brain scanner and let them smell 5 different things. Themselves, a dog they knew, a dog they had never met, a stranger, and their own person. When their person's scent arrived, one region answered harder than for anything else. The caudate, a hub in the brain's reward network. Here is what that means in plain language. Your smell does not just register with your dog. It rewards them. It lands in the same circuitry that fires for the things a brain is built to want. The same place that answers to food, to play, to being reunited. So picture your dog with their nose sunk into the warm fabric, drawing your scent in slowly, letting one long breath back out. That is not laziness settling over them. That is a small hit of something genuinely good. The cushion is doing for their brain a quiet fraction of what your hand on their head does, and your seat, in the minute right after you leave it, holds the strongest dose of that scent they can find anywhere in the house without you actually being in the room. Think about the ordinary version you have seen 100 times. The dog that curls up on your unwashed hoodie the moment you drop it, or presses into the laundry that still carries you, or waits on your side of the bed. Same instinct, every time. The seat is just the warmest, most obvious version of it. And unlike the hoodie you dropped this morning, the seat is fresh. A scent is at its strongest in the first few minutes, before it thins out into the air. Your dog knows that the window is short. It is part of why they move the instant you do. To their brain, your scent is not information. It is a warmth of a different kind, a signal that some part of you is still near. There is nothing needy about it, either. It is the same quiet pull that lifts their head and finds you across a crowded room the second you walk in, a nose reaching, on its own, for the one person it is bonded to. But that signature carries something more than simply who you are, because your scent does not only say you, it says how you were. In 2018, a study in the journal Animal Cognition tried something clever. They collected body odor from people who had been made frightened and from people who had been made happy, and they let dogs smell each one. The dogs behaved differently depending on which they got. The fear odor pushed them toward more stress signals and more checking in with their owner. The happy odor left them looser, calmer, more willing to walk up to a stranger they had never met. Sit with that for a second. Your body chemistry shifts with your mood, and your dog can read the shift straight off the air. Scientists call it emotional contagion through scent. Not your dog reasoning about your feelings, but catching a trace of them, the way a room can feel tense before a single word is spoken. You have felt the human version of this. Walking into a house after an argument and knowing, before anyone says anything, that something is wrong. Your dog lives in that layer of information all the time, except the message is written in scent instead of silence. So the chair you sank into after a long, heavy day is not only soaked in you, it is soaked in that day. The tiredness, the tight shoulders, the slow breath you let out when you finally sat down. Some trace of all of it is pressed into the fabric. And if your dog seeks out your spot most on the evenings you need it most, curling smaller and pressing closer than usual, they may be reading something in you that you never once said out loud. They are not just settling where you were, they are settling close to how you were, which is a strangely tender thing to do with nothing but a warm cushion. Now, before we keep going, if you're learning something new about your dog, hit like and subscribe. That's how we get these videos to more dog owners who want to love their dogs the right way. Now the second system, and it is the one people underrate. Heat. Put your hand flat on the seat the moment you stand, and it is warm. You already knew that. What you may not know is how much that warmth is actually worth to a dog. Dogs run hotter than we do. A person sits around 98.6 degrees. A dog runs closer to 101, even 102. And every warm-blooded animal has a thermoneutral zone, the band of temperature where the body holds itself steady without spending any extra energy to stay warm. For a lot of dogs, that comfortable band sits above a normal room and it slides around with the breed and the thickness of the coat. Drop below it and their body has to quietly start burning fuel just to keep its own temperature up. It is a small, constant tax on the body, running in the background of every cool evening. Here is where your seat gets clever. It arrives already warm. Sinking into a spot that is basically preheated to their body means they get to rest without paying the heating bill. Watch a dog do it. They will often press a flank or a belly flat into the warm patch, the part of them with the least fur, soaking it up. You have seen the opposite of this 100 times, too. The dog that gives up a cool tile floor the instant a patch of sun slides across it. The one that claims the warm laundry the second it leaves the dryer and grumbles when you need it back. Same drive, every single time. A warm-blooded body drifting toward the one place where staying warm costs it nothing at all. So look at what your chair hands them all at once. It is warm, so it costs them less to lie there. And it smells like you, so it pays them the moment they arrive. Two separate rewards stacked into one cushion. If your dog cuts straight to the spot you just left, right past the expensive bed you actually bought them, they are not being spoiled. They are being efficient. The warmth is real, the scent is you, and their biology welds the two into the single best seat in the house. But heat and smell still do not explain the timing, because here is the part that stops people cold. Half the time, your dog is already moving before you have even finished standing up. You have not announced anything. You have not said a word. And they are already gathering their legs under them, ears turning toward you, muscles loading like a runner in the blocks, tracking you with a sharper edge of attention than a second ago. This is the third system, and it has a name. Associative prediction. Dogs build astonishingly detailed models of the people they live with. They learn the sequences, the small inhale you take right before you rise, the way your weight rolls forward to the front of the cushion, your palms pressing down on the armrests, the particular way you set your phone aside. Add up enough of these, in this exact order, and a picture forms. A person is about to stand. None of it means anything to you. All of it means something to them. They are not reacting to you leaving the seat. They are predicting it, off signals you give away without ever knowing you gave them. It is the same machinery behind the dog waiting at the window before the car has even turned onto the street, except here it is aimed at something much smaller and much closer to home. The exact instant your spot comes free. Think about what that takes. To claim your seat the second you rise, your dog has been studying you for months. The way you move, the rhythm of your evenings, the tiny tells you cannot feel in yourself. There is something almost humbling in it. While you were half watching the television, your dog was watching you, building a working model of the one person their whole day quietly orbits around. You are the most closely read subject of their entire life, and the exam never once closes, which leaves one quiet question. Why go to all that trouble for a cushion? The answer was never really about the cushion. Think about when a dog is most exposed. It is not when they are running or barking or tearing across the yard after a squirrel. It is when they finally lie down, let their muscles go, and stop watching the room. Deep rest is the moment an animal is most defenseless, so where a dog chooses to lower its guard is never a throwaway choice. In a well-known experiment shaped like the test psychologists use on human toddlers, researchers found that dogs treat their owner as a secure base, a fixed point of safety they anchor themselves to, the way a small child anchors to a parent in a strange room. And the finding is not sentimental. It holds up under careful testing. Take the owner out of the room, and the dog explores less, settles less, and keeps drifting back toward the door. Bring the owner back, and the dog loosens, as if the room itself just became safe. Now hold that next to the seat. When your dog picks your spot to truly let go in, chin sinking down, eyes sliding shut, the whole weight of them finally surrendered. They are choosing to be defenseless in the place that carries the most of you. They relax hardest exactly where your trace runs deepest. You can read it in the body. The slow blink, the sigh that empties all the way out, the legs that stop bracing and simply spill. If your dog can drift all the way off in your seat but stays half alert on the floor, on their bed, by the door, they have quietly told you which spot in the house feels safest of all, and it is the one still shaped like you. Of all the places to put their guard down, they choose the one that says your name without making a sound. And that choice is the whole answer. So here is the one that stays with you. Stand in the doorway for a second and look at the room honestly. The dog bed you spent real money on sits empty in the corner. The warm patch of afternoon sun is wide open across the floor. There is a whole other end of the couch that nobody is using. And your dog is in your seat. Now line up everything we found. Your scent lights up the reward center of their brain. That same scent carries the emotional weight of your entire day. The warmth lets them rest for less, and their timing is sharp enough to take the spot the very instant you rise. All of it, every system, converging on one ordinary cushion. Not because it is the softest choice in the room, and not because it is the warmest in pure degrees, but because it is the most you. Think about how much has to be true at once for that to happen. A nose built to read you, a brain wired to reward your smell, a body that runs warm and rests easier in warmth, and a mind that has quietly memorized your smallest movements. None of it is aimed at the chair. All of it is aimed at you. It is the same instrument that lets a dog find their person in a crowded park by scent alone, or wait at the door tuned to the sound of one specific engine out of 100, pointed now at the simple shape of where you were sitting. So the next time you walk back in and find them there, sprawled out, blinking up at you completely unrepentant, look again before you move them. You are not looking at a thief who stole your seat. You are looking at a dog who quietly gathered up everything that smells like you, feels like you, and reminds them of you, and decided there is nowhere better in the entire world to be than the space you just left warm. That is what is really sitting in your chair. Not a pet being difficult. A whole quiet architecture of love pointed in one direction. They cannot say the words. They cannot tell you that you are the safest, warmest, most important place they know. So they do the next best thing they can find. They climb into the shape you left behind. They breathe you in, and they wait for you to come back to it. That is not a dog taking your seat. That is a dog holding on to you the only way they know how. You will get up 1,000 more times, and 1,000 more times they will be there in the warm space you leave, waiting like it is the most natural thing in the world. Because to them, it is. If this is the kind of thing you like to sit and wonder about, subscribe and keep wondering with us, and tell us below. Does your dog take your exact seat, or a spot that is somehow all about you?